In this video we're going to look at the measurement of what's known as gradient or measurement of slope. So here we have a line. Okay, in order to measure the slope of a line, what you need to do is pick two convenient points. So I have this point here P, which is -1, -3, and I have this point here which is Q, which is 4, 5, and these can be set using the sliders. What you normally label is one point x1, y1 using subscript, and this point here x2, y2. Now gradient is this distance here divided by this distance here. Okay, it's sometimes known as raise over run. So it's the vertical distance divided by the horizontal distance. Okay, and there is a formula here for the gradient, and what to do to find this distance, what you need to do is take y2 and then subtract the y coordinate from this point, y1, and then to find this distance here you take x2, the x coordinate of this point here, take away x1, and you divide one by the other, so you end up with this formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and you label these up accordingly. Okay, so the gradient in this case is going to be 5 minus 3 divided by 4 minus 1, which you get here. 5 minus 3 gives me 8, and then 4 minus 1 it gives me 5, so that's 8 over 5. Now normally it's best to express it as a fraction, because that means for every 5 squares I go along I will go up 8, or as a decimal you get the answer like that. So every 5 squares along I'm going to go up 8. Now if I move this one, sorry, I'm not going to move this one, let's move the other one. Let's this one here. Okay, now I've got a sort of a fraction, and so what happens now, this means for every 5 squares along I go up 3. Okay, now there are lines that slope this way, and then the lines that slope that way. So let's see if I just create one of those. So if I change the x coordinate here, no, the y coordinate here, sorry, to being negative. Okay, now we'll see that the gradient is negative. Okay, and why it's negative? Because what it now says, for every 5 squares I go along, I now go down 3 squares. So every 5 squares I go along, I go down 3 squares. Okay, and this time you draw your triangle across the top. Alright, so this has been a video to introduce the idea of gradient and how to actually calculate the gradient. This is the important formula. We use the letter M for gradient, and this is a very, very important formula which you must learn at coordinate geometry. So this has been a video about introduction of gradient. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have understood. The GeoGebra app I will put into the notes of the video.